if this reporting is true, and right now it seems like it'll boil down to what the president claims he said, although we haven't heard him tweet yet, and who knows what he'll tweet tomorrow morning, and what Director Comey believes the president said and wrote in notes. How much trouble is the president in for this?
Well, we'll have to see, but there's no...
If the story is accurate as reported...
If the story is accurate, there will be a big deal. The question is it accurate? Let me just... The two quotes here from that memo as presented to the New York Times from the president, he is a good guy. I hope you can let this go. Comey replies, I agree, he is a good guy. The narrative seems to be that the president overstepped, that the president is doing this. There is no narrative here that James Comey was bargaining to keep his job. I don't know that he was, but does that indicate that?
That's not the whole thing, Jeff. You didn't read the whole quote, though.
That's what it was. I copied it from the New York Times.
More than that. He says let it go a couple times.
Yeah, but that is not Richard Nixon saying to Elliot Richardson, you do this or you're fired.
Now, this is like saying, nice house you got there, if something happened to it.
Right. I mean, it does. I mean, you can interpret it. Yeah, you can interpret it in the most benign way, which is, yeah, he's a nice guy, and I hope you can let it go. I don't know.
But my point here.
Do you think he's singing "Let It Go"?
We are once again in high-tech lynching mode here. These media circuses happen. Clarence Thomas, Bill Clinton, I might add.
But this is not a media circus. This is the President of the United States in the Oval Office excusing the Attorney General.
Right. Did he say go do this?
Excusing his Vice President and talking to the Director of the FBI, a guy who...
Did he instruct him to do it?
Right. I mean,
you don't think he's asking?
Who can bring a troublesome priest?
He did not instruct him to do it, and that's a big deal.
You're telling me if the President of the United States brings you into the Oval Office and is standing close to you just like LBJ used to and point at people and say, gosh, I hope you can find it in your heart to let this go, Jeff. I hope you can find it in your heart to back me up on everything I
get the option to do it or not.
Yes, you do.
Right? Archibald Cox had no option.
He
was fired. Okay. That's it.
All right, Paul?
In February, the president meets, we now know, privately with the FBI director. Hugely inappropriate. Maybe obstruction of justice. I'll leave that to the attorneys.
This is, by the way, after the president has allegedly asked the FBI director for a pledge of loyalty.
Oh, I forgot about that. Pledge of loyalty. Then this private meeting.
Denies, does he not?
Sure, he denies it, yeah. But until he tweets about it tomorrow and says he did.
Then he confirms it. I mean, let's just set the timeline. The first inquiry was a request of loyalty. The second, then he says, this is a good guy. I hope you can let this go. Then on March 10th, Comey testifies, confirming that Trump's campaign is under FBI investigation and that, in fact, Flynn is as well. There's much discussion that March 10th testimony by Comey about Flynn. So that's one way to tell the president, I'm not backing down. That was in March 10th. May 9th, Comey is fired.
We should also point out, and we're going to hear this from Sally Yates tonight, Sally Yates had told the Office of Legal Counsel, had informed the Office of Legal Counsel, apparently the first he'd heard this, that not only that Flynn had been interviewed by the FBI in the White House, and she gave the indication that the interview didn't go so well. The legal counsel asked for details. She wouldn't give details, but the indication was it didn't go very well. Then the legal counsel takes that to the president, and the president that night has dinner with Comey asking for a loyalty pledge, and then days later, after fired, 18 days later, has this meeting.
Why is the president so loyal to General Flynn? I'm sure he's a good guy. I've never met him. That's not why. Come on.
Right.
All roads lead to Russia.
No.
That's what's going on here. And on the night he fired Flynn, I said that. I said, be very careful who you hire, Mr. President. Be more careful who you fire. Because this guy knows where all the bodies are buried.
And Matt, again, Sally Yates, you'll hear it tonight. The White House has continued to say there was nothing illegal that Flynn did. It was just a question of him lying to the vice president. Sally Yates says that's just not true, that there is illegality in the underlying behavior of Flynn.
Yeah, and this could be the whole cover-up is worse than the crime thing, too, right? Whether or not there was any there now is potential obstruction of justice. And I think it's going to be very interesting to watch how Republicans react to this if they start jumping off. I can just say my sense is the football line, they are who we thought they were. For those conservatives like me who were concerned about Donald Trump in terms of issues like temperament, experience, and character, this is sort of the worry. The one worry was that Hillary would win. This is the other potential worry.
Kirsten, I want to play something that the acting FBI director, McCabe, said in testimony last week in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee when he was asked about Comey's files after he was fired. Let's listen.
who was in charge of securing his files and devices when that information came down that he had been fired?
That's our responsibility, ma'am.
And are you confident that his files and his devices have been secured in a way that we can maintain whatever information or evidence he has in connection with the investigation?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
It's interesting, Kirsten, because also just from some of our reporters reporting, they've talked to people who apparently have a copy of at least one of the memos.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I think, Jason Chaffetz has said that he's ready to subpoena that memo if they don't hand it over. So hopefully they'll do that. They also should subpoena, and I think Congressman Schiff has said this, they need to subpoena the tapes if they exist. Right, and then they need to find out if there was, it's probably unlikely there was someone in the room taking notes, but if there was anybody there, they need to confirm that the Attorney General and Vice President Pence were asked to leave. There are a lot of different things that I think that they have to look at. But I just want to say on the, the cover-up worse than the crime thing, I mean, there's really no need for a cover-up unless something happened, right? And I think even for people who wanted to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt on the Russia situation, the last couple of days really should give them pause, because he's sort of frantically trying to stop this investigation, right? He's not looking out for General Flynn because, as Paul said, he doesn't really do that for other people. But let me finish. Unless that impacts him somehow. And then the fact that he fired the FBI director. I mean, this is somebody who is kind of panicking, I think.
But I can see Trump doing this sort of thing because he is an egomaniac, because he's thin-skinned, and because he doesn't have the experience to understand the repercussions. Maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, you're making it sound like...
No, I think he is a child. I think he is a child. That's fundamentally the point. I think he's a child.
All right. Everyone, we have more coming up on tonight's break.